Hi, my name is Gordon. I'm a hypnotherapist, and if you're watching this video, then it's likely that you're about to come and see me for some therapy. Now, what I'm going to ask you to do is to sit and listen to me, watch this video for about 15 minutes, and I'd like you to do that with an open mind. The reason that I'm asking you to do this is so that I can perhaps answer some of the questions that you might have, some of the doubts you might have, and that it allows you to really get the best benefit out of the therapy session, the most value. And I know that's important to you, and it's important to me too. So, where do we start? What I'd like you to understand is that during the therapy session I'll be using hypnosis. And for you to get the best out of hypnosis, you need to understand a little bit about it. To understand a little bit about hypnosis, what you need to understand is a little bit about the mind, okay? And I'm not going to blind you with science about the mind. The mind is a very interesting subject, and we could talk for hours about it. But basically, let's talk about the mind being made up of two things. One, the conscious mind, and two, the unconscious mind. Now, the conscious mind is, well, what could we describe? Basically, it says it is what it is on the tin. The conscious mind is everything that you are conscious of at the moment. Okay? And the unconscious mind deals with everything that you're not conscious of right now. You see, even as we speak, perhaps you're conscious of the sound of my voice, you're conscious of the way that my mouth moves, and you're conscious of watching the screen. But perhaps you're not conscious of the sensation of your right foot inside of your shoe or your slipper. Perhaps you're not conscious of the support that the chair is giving you at the moment. Perhaps you're not even conscious of the way that your breath is leaving your body and coming in, and the temperature of your left hand. So, all of those things that you're not conscious of are still happening. You're just not conscious of them, and your unconscious mind is dealing with them. Now let me give you an idea of the scale of the unconscious mind compared to the conscious mind. Studies seem to indicate that the conscious mind can deal with between 5 and 9 things at any one time. Any more than that, and we are overloaded. Okay, that's why you can be reading a really interesting book and really engrossed in the book. Somebody talks to you and you don't hear a word that they've said. Consciously. Unconsciously, of course you do. Why? Because your conscious mind is overloaded. It's busy with something else. Okay? The unconscious mind, however, is dealing at any moment in time, is dealing with millions upon millions of stimulus, both internal and external. Just thinking about what the unconscious mind is dealing with as we sit here. You are listening to my words, but your unconscious mind is allowing your heart to beat, making your nails grow, making your hair grow. It's changing every cell in your body, reproducing itself. It's fighting viruses. It's cleaning your system out. It's aware of all of the external stimulus that's happening beyond what you are hearing right now. It's aware of the feelings that surround you, any emotions. It's aware of so many things that if we were going to make a kind of comparison, let's say the conscious mind is a pea, a little green pea. The unconscious mind, in comparison, would be Mount Everest. Okay? There's that much difference between the two. Now, one of the things is that we think that we are the conscious mind. We think that's all that we are. The conscious mind is a very rational mind. We rationalize what we do. We make decisions. We have day-to-day memories. You know what colour my car is, what kind of car I've got, where I live. What the colour of my front door is. Things like that. Okay. That's what the conscious mind does. But we are by no means our conscious mind. It's a part of us, of course it is. However, the unconscious mind is the real us. What lies beneath is the real us. Yeah? It's the giant within, as it's called. Okay, so What's important for us to know about that? Why is it important to know the difference? Well, you see, the unconscious mind has a lot of jobs, but one of the biggest jobs that it has is to make us feel secure. It's to keep us safe. It's one of its highest priorities, to keep us safe. What's interesting about keeping us safe, it doesn't necessarily mean safe from danger. It means keeping us safe in as much as we have what we wanted to have. Its job is to give us what we wanted. Now that sounds great, doesn't it? Oh, if I can have what I want, that's great. However, you must bear in mind that when we were born with a clean slate. The unconscious mind was empty, in effect. And then what happened was, little by little, just like a computer, which when you get it from the shop has a hard drive that has some information on, but you know, the basics to actually start the computer up, etc. It has running programs, but the programs for your life, or for its life, aren't there. Just as when you're born, the programs that will run your life aren't there. And what happens is, little by little, we program ourselves. Now yes, we program ourselves, or should I say we allow ourselves to be programmed. However, we don't always program ourselves. Why? Well, from the age of 0 to from birth to about 12 years old, we are in a state of high suggestibility. Okay? Particularly from the ages of 2 through to about 7, we are hyper, super duper suggestible. Okay? Now think about those ages between 2 and 7. Who do you think is going to give us the majority of our beliefs, ideals, aspirations, beliefs about ourselves, and the programs that we will run for the rest of our lives? Who do you think does it? Well, parents, of course. Friends, adults, relatives, teachers, the television, absolutely. Now what kind of ideals and beliefs and values do you think all of these people give us? Well, some of them very good, and I'm sure from our parents we've learned some exceedingly good values. However, many people who were giving us these values or these beliefs had absolutely no business doing that. In fact, many people who were giving us these, who were programming us when we were just there, small, wide-eyed, listening to these giants of people who knew everything, those people were giving us the beliefs and the values that they had already been programmed before by their parents or by the people in their life. And what kind of values do you think they are? Well, things like, well, you tried, but you know, you'll probably never be very good at that. That's not one of your better skills really, is it? Well, you're quite clumsy, aren't you? Goodness, aren't you accident prone? Everything happens to you. You are always falling down. No, I don't think you've got a musical bone in your body. Actually, no, you'll never be good at drawing. No, you're just not artistic, are you? No, I think you're tone deaf, aren't you? Yeah, no, you're not very good. And well, you're okay. You're a little bit chubby, really, aren't you? You're probably, you know, in our family, everybody's fat. You'll probably be fat for all of your life. It's just one of those things, you know. Lots of people in our family are alcoholics, etc., etc., etc. Now, when you are that age, the mind accepts, the unconscious mind accepts all of those suggestions. Okay, why does it accept them? I'm going to explain in a little while why it does. How do you accept a suggestion and how do you reject a suggestion? Well, okay. before I move on to that, the important thing to know is this. The unconscious mind, like a computer, once it has a program installed, will run that program for the rest of your life until it's overwritten. Not until it's deleted. Many people who had rather questionable things on the hard drive found out to their peril that just by deleting them does not take it off the hard drive of the computer. In fact, what they've got to do is overwrite it. And that's the same with the unconscious mind. If you're running a program, what you've got to do is overwrite that program with a new one. Then your life will change. Okay? So how does that happen? Well, what we do is our unconscious mind, once a suggestion gets into the unconscious mind, it will be accepted without question. However, it isn't that easy to get a suggestion in. Why? Well, because we have a thing called the critical factor. And thank goodness we do. The critical factor is our antivirus and firewall. Yeah? Now, the antivirus and firewall is the critical factor. It's there all the time, so that when I say to you now, all you need do is eat more and you will lose weight. Okay? Just eat more and you'll lose weight. Now what happens is this. When I give you that suggestion, that recommendation, what you do is you go inside, and the critical factor does this. It says, now, if I eat more, I'll lose weight. Can I believe that? And then think about the past. You think about the past and say, well, no. Every single time that I've eaten more, I've gained weight. There's something wrong with that suggestion. That won't work. And so that suggestion is rejected. Never gets anywhere near the unconscious mind. Rejected. And that's the job of our critical factor. When people are giving us bad information, it rejects it. And rightly so. Thank goodness for it. However, the thing with the critical factor is sometimes it can reject even good suggestions. And the reason for that is this, that we tend to want to maintain the image that we hold of ourselves. What do I mean by that? If we've spent the whole of our youth hearing our parents say to us, or somebody of importance saying to us, you will never be good at art. You'll never be good. You're just not artistic. Then somebody says to you, actually, you are very artistic and you can draw really well. Okay? What happens is the unconscious mind looks at, and the critical factor looks at, all of the proof. Okay? And it says, wait a minute, I've never been good at art. Everybody told me I wasn't good at art. I believe I'm not good at art. If I suddenly became good at art, it would fly in the face of everything that I believe that I am. And that's not allowed. And so, the suggestion's rejected. You see, the unconscious mind and the critical factor will not allow us to be anything that we believe we're not. Okay? Why? Because it's hard work. Imagine that you have to change an entire belief. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of history change. That's a lot of future change. And the unconscious mind is a little bit, well, let's say it's a minimalist. It will do the minimum amount of work necessary and no more. Okay. And that's because the critical factor is there to keep us safe. But what happens is the critical factor often traps us in a way of thinking. And sometimes we feel that there's no way out, but of course there is. And the way out is this. Well, hypnosis is a fantastic way out of old rubbish programming. There's an expression about computer programming which is garbage in, garbage out. If we've had garbage put in, not by us, sometimes by us, and sometimes we reinforce it, but garbage in by people, what's going to come out is garbage. And the question we ask ourselves is, as we look at our life, how many parts of our life are garbage? in how many parts of our life are we behaving in a garbage way? Well, I don't know. But if there's just one part of our life that really is pretty rubbish, what that means is that we have a program that's running that is a rubbish program, and we need to change it. What hypnosis does is this. Hypnosis allows you to relax so much and the mind to relax so much that the critical factor quietens down. That voice that says no, 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 don't accept that suggestion, that voice quietens down. And so in hypnosis and in somnambulistic trance, which you will be in when we do this work, suggestions can go through directly to the unconscious mind. And once a suggestion is taken in and accepted, it will be acted upon from that moment onwards. Okay? So what does that mean? That once you're in trance, I have total control over you. I can do anything and make it happen. If it were that simple, well, I would be a lot richer than I am. Okay? It isn't as simple as that. Why? Because inside of us, even though we have the critical factor quietened down, we still have what's called the guardian on the gate. We still have that small us. See, the conscious mind doesn't go away completely. It can do, but it's unlikely with what we're going to do. And so, when I'm offering you suggestions, or any hypnotist for that matter is offering you suggestions, you always have choice. And really what happens is this. When I'm offering you a suggestion, you can do one of 4 things. Okay? And depending on what you choose to do, will decide whether that hypnosis will work for you or not. And these 4 things are, well, the first one, and this is the best one, so note this down, is to say inside when you're hearing these suggestions, that's a great suggestion. That will work for me. That's going to work. I like that. So that's one option. The other option is to say, don't like that. No, don't want to do that. Okay? And that's your choice. Of course it is. If you do that, the suggestion will be rejected instantly. Number 3 is to say, oh, that sounds like it might be a lot of work. And if you think that way, rejection. Pitching out. And then lastly, but not leastly, and this is probably the most insidious of all of the ways that you can think whilst you're in hypnosis and beforehand, is this. That's a nice suggestion. I really hope that it'll work. I'm going to try and do it. Why is that the worst? Well, because basically to try is to lie. Okay? Trying is failing. There's an expression which Yoda uses, I think, in Star Wars, and he says, do or do not do. There is no try. Okay? And that is the truth. Because if you think, well, I'll give that a go, I'll do the very best I can, really you've already set yourself up for failure. So what do you do? Well, when you're in hypnosis and you're receiving these suggestions, you say, that's a great suggestion. That's going to work for me. I like that. And that's what you do. And if you do that, and if you follow all of the suggestions that I offer you, and you accept them truly and deeply, you will change. And you will become the person that you want to become. Does that make sense? So, what do you have to do? Well, really, trust that what I offer you in terms of suggestion is only going to be positive. I would never suggest to anybody anything that would cause them problems. Why would it? That's not my job. My job is to help people. And my intention is to help you in every way I possibly can. Because that's what you've come to me for. What's my success rate like? My success rate is 100% with everybody who allowed themselves to accept all of the suggestions. To everybody who did just what I asked them to do, without question. Is that what you're prepared to do? I think it is. So, it's all down to you. Hypnosis is a wonderful way of allowing yourself to change now. And all that you need to do is to come with an open mind and with full acceptance that whatever we do, you'll do wholeheartedly on all levels. Okay? It's down to you. I can't make you do anything. Only you can do it. All I am is the guide. And it's down to you. And the question is, do you want to change? And if you do, how willing are you to make that change? Okay, I really look forward to seeing you, and thanks for listening in. Bye-bye.